I am an FBI agent!
I know, man. Isn't it wild?
We're gonna die.
I don't lose! I win! I win!
I know that the ones who love us will miss us.
He is a name that the whole world always tips its hat to honor a talented bad boy, a multicolored villain star of Hollywood, a man who has walked through gunfire on screen, the face of Lonely Souls, a symbol of decency in Hollywood, the owner of a massive fortune of $380 million, a mansion guarded 24/7, a billion-dollar motorcycle garage, a high-class lifestyle that leaves anyone astonished. That is Keanu Reeves. But behind the spotlight is a life full of upheaval. Losing a best friend, losing his first child, then losing the woman he loved within just a few years. And those tragedies pushed him into a unique kind of solitude. Let's step into the mysterious world of the legend Keanu Reeves, where money, tragedy, and quiet kindness are waiting to be revealed. 1. A childhood raised on fear. Keanu Reeves was born on September 2, 1964 in Beirut. His father Samuel was of Hawaiian and Chinese descent, while his mother Patricia was English. But his early years were far from peaceful. Just 3 weeks after Keanu was born, the whole family moved to Sydney. 1 year later, Samuel disappeared completely from their lives. When Keanu turned 3, Patricia took him to New York and raised him alone. And that was only the beginning of a series of moves from place to place for the two of them. His father had by then fallen deep into drugs, not only abandoning the family, but also slipping away from his own life. There was even a time when, in an intoxicated state, he forced Keanu to use a dose. But his mother appeared just in time to stop it. From then on, he no longer saw his father's presence in the house. Patricia tried to build a stable life, but her relationships kept everything unsteady. She married Broadway stage director Paul Aaron in 1970, which gave him the chance to act early at just 9 years old. By the age of 17, Keanu had attended 4 different high schools. He was expelled from one art school for being too rebellious and disruptive. At De La Salle College, he became a hockey goalie and was nicknamed the Wall. But dyslexia made his studies extremely difficult. Reading was a struggle, and he said he always felt like an outsider. At Avondale Secondary School, the final school he gave up completely. He never earned a high school diploma. He dropped out and pursued acting professionally. 2. Keanu's breakthrough acting success, with earnings of $200 million. In 1989, he appeared in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure as Ted Logan, a goofy but sincere young man. The film grossed over $40 million and quickly became a cultural phenomenon. Moving into the 1990s, Keanu did not follow a single path. He experimented with many types of roles, from action to psychological drama. In 1991, Point Break appeared as a major push. The film earned over $83 million and for the first time portrayed Keanu as a true action star. But it was not until 1994 with Speed that everything truly exploded. The film grossed over $350 million worldwide. The role of Officer Jack Traven brought Keanu into the A-list. His salary of $1.2 million at the time was not just money. It was a signal. Hollywood began betting on him. Then in 1999, something bigger than everything happened. The Matrix was not just a movie. It was a turning point for the entire film industry. The role of Neo turned Keanu into an icon. The film grossed $463 million worldwide and changed how audiences viewed action films. Keanu received $10 million up front, but it was the profit sharing that made the difference. From the first film alone, he earned over $45 million. That was no longer just an actor's income. It was the mark of someone who understood his long-term value. The 2 sequels, The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions, pushed that number even higher. With Reloaded, Keanu earned about $15 million in salary and around $40 million from profit sharing, while the film made over $742 million worldwide. With Revolutions, his total income reached about $50 million. Altogether from this franchise alone, Keanu pocketed nearly $200 million. Without needing an official title, he became one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood in his own way. Quiet, unshowy, but extremely precise. After that peak, Keanu did not disappear, but he also did not chase trends. Until 2014, he returned with John Wick, a film that seemed small with a modest budget, yet became a global phenomenon. The role of hitman John Wick not only revived his career, but also created a new franchise. The first installment brought him about $2 to $3 million. By the second, the number rose to $4 million. The third $10 million. And by John Wick. Chapter 4, his salary reached about $15 million, not including profit shares. The total box office of the series exceeded $1 billion. Once again proving Keanu is not just an actor, but someone who can carry an entire cinematic universe. Interestingly, Keanu does not just make money by taking roles. He also knows when to refuse or sacrifice. In The Devil's Advocate, he agreed to reduce his salary to $8 million to bring in Al Pacino. That was not a typical financial decision. It was how someone understands the value of collaboration and respect for the craft. In addition, he has participated in other projects like The Day the Earth Stood Still, with earnings of about $20 million, while also expanding into publishing with 2 books, Ode to Happiness and Shadows. After more than 40 years in the industry, Keanu Reeves' net worth is estimated at about $380 million, a number enough to define a superstar. But what makes Keanu different is not the money he earns. It is how he does not let that money define who he is. And that difference is what makes the story of Keanu Reeves never just about success. 3. A luxurious empire in the heart of Hollywood Hills. After more than 30 years under the Hollywood spotlight, Keanu Reeves owns something that surprises many. He has almost only one house, not a chain of mansions, not a real estate portfolio across multiple cities, just one home in Hollywood Hills. And that is enough. This mansion is currently valued at about $8.07 million, but Keanu bought it in 2003 for about $4.85 million. In an industry where assets are often used to display power, Keanu's way of owning real estate goes in the opposite direction. He does not expand. He does not accumulate. He keeps everything at a necessary level, as if the value of a house lies in living in it, not displaying it. For many years, Keanu did not even consider this house the center of his life. He lived like someone always on the move. Hotels became familiar residences, and Chateau Marmont was almost an address associated with him for a long time. This led many to call him a million-dollar homeless man. It sounds contradictory, but it accurately reflects how Keanu sees life. He does not need too much space to prove success. He only needs a place quiet enough to return to when he wants. Keanu's house in Hollywood Hills is about 5,607 square feet, with 2 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, a pool, and a garage for 3 cars. Not overly extravagant by superstar standards, but it offers a sense of privacy and separation. However, that privacy has not always been fully preserved. In 2023, the house was broken into by masked intruders. Fortunately, Keanu was not there. Earlier in 2014, a woman entered the house while he was asleep on the couch. Just one day later, another person broke in when the door was unlocked, even behaving strangely in the pool. These incidents turned the house into not just a home, but something like a fortress that must be protected. Amid all of this, Keanu has not changed his way of living. No additional houses, no expansion of territory, just keeping one space private and quiet in a city that never truly sleeps. 4. An enviable motorcycle collection. Keanu Reeves' motorcycle collection is not a place to show off quantity, but a place where each bike carries its own story, a milestone tied to his life. And if there is a place to start, the first bike that must be mentioned is the Ducati 998 Matrix Green. Valued at about $20,000, it is not the most expensive bike, but it is the most meaningful one. It is closely associated with the film The Matrix Reloaded, where Keanu's co-star Carrie-Anne Moss used this very bike on screen. Interestingly, before that, she had never ridden a motorcycle, and this Ducati became a bridge between cinema and real life. When the film was released in 2003, the bike's appeal was so strong that Ducati produced a limited Matrix Reloaded edition in 2004 with a signature design gold clutch silver windshield and Termignoni exhaust system. But for Keanu, its true value does not lie in specifications or additions, but in the memories it holds. The second bike elevating the collection is the Arch KRGT-1 2019, a product from Arch Motorcycle, which Keanu co-founded. If Ducati is memory, then Arch is a personal statement. Each KRGT-1 is custom-built, no two are alike, directly reflecting the style and personality of its owner. Keanu's bike is equipped with an S&S 124 cubic inch V-twin engine valued at about $85,000. This is no longer just a means of transportation. It is a combination of engineering art and identity. When Keanu rides the KRGT-1, he is not just controlling a machine. He is riding his own philosophy of life, slow, precise, and not following the crowd. But if the first two bikes still balance emotion and engineering, the third, El Diablo, pushes everything to a completely different level. This is a chopper customized by Jesse James and West Coast Choppers, with an estimated value of about $150,000. The entire design carries a powerful black tone with a logo handcrafted by artisan Ty Herrera, creating a look that is both raw and refined. El Diablo is not the kind of bike made for safety. With up to 225 horsepower and 428 pound-feet of torque, it represents speed risk and the feeling of controlling limits. This is the bike that most clearly reflects a side of Keanu's personality, that few notice a willingness to face danger just to feel truly alive. What is notable is that Keanu's love for motorcycles has never been extinguished by accidents. He has suffered many serious injuries, even undergoing surgery and losing part of his spleen. But he has never left these machines behind. For Keanu, motorcycles are not just a passion. They are part of who he is. A way to escape the noisy world and return to himself. His collection does not need to be the largest. It just needs to be real. In addition to spending large amounts of money on himself, Keanu Reeves is also not hesitant to spend a large amount for the community. 5. Actor Keanu Reeves invests $350 million in free community kitchens. A project called Everyone Eats with a simple but powerful goal. Anyone who walks in gets a hot meal. No questions, no discrimination. The numbers attached make the story even more overwhelming. 150 locations opening at the same time. More than 120,000 meals. In just the first 12 hours. $45 million raised from the community in a single day. A plan to expand to 2,000 facilities within 5 years. And at the center of it all is the image of Keanu Reeves quietly handing out food, hugging strangers, and saying a very short sentence when asked why he does this: "I need to." The issue is, the more perfect a story is, the more carefully it needs to be verified. And when each layer of information is separated, the first thing that appears is not strong evidence, but gaps. There is no official press release from a nationwide organization called Everyone Eats. There are no legal records. No independently verified location system. No major U.S. news outlets simultaneously reporting on a project worth hundreds of millions of U.S. dollars. Instead, the story appears in a very familiar way, spreading on social media, changing details with each version. Some say $350 million U.S. dollars. Others reduce it to $200 million U.S. dollars, but keep the same emotional structure. One star. One big act. One humanitarian message. That does not mean the story is completely false, but it shows clear signs of content that has not been fully verified. This is an important point. Keanu Reeves truly has a history of charitable work. He has maintained a private foundation supporting children's hospitals and cancer research for many years without attaching his name to it. He has participated in fundraising activities supporting initiatives related to the homeless and vulnerable communities. Those actions are real, traceable, and confirmed by reliable sources. But precisely because that image is so strong, so clean, Keanu has also become an ideal target for exaggerated stories. When the public already believes someone is kind, they are willing to believe any additional kind story associated with that person, even without sufficient evidence. Looking back at the structure of Everyone Eats, it targets a very real need in society: hunger, homelessness. Lack of opportunity, systemic inequality, all are existing problems. The idea of a network of free kitchens combined with shower facilities, job counseling, and reintegration support is, in theory, a comprehensive and desirable solution. But between idea and reality, there is always a large gap. A project on the scale of $350 million deployed nationwide cannot happen without leaving clear traces in media policy and finance systems. And when those traces do not appear, the question that needs to be asked is not how beautiful is this story, but how real is it? Interestingly, even if the story of $350 million is set aside, the image of Keanu Reeves does not change much. He remains one of the few stars who consistently maintains kindness. Without needing massive numbers or shocking projects, Keanu still chooses to help in a quieter, more persistent way. And perhaps that is exactly why stories like Everyone Eats are so easily believed. Not because they have been proven, but because they fit how the public wants to see Keanu Reeves. And when a person is defined by kindness, the line between truth and legend begins to blur. But if there is one thing to believe, perhaps the most believable thing is not the number $350 million, but the way Keanu always appears, not loud, not showy, but enough to make others feel that the world still has a little kindness left. Because if there is one thing that defines Keanu Reeves, it is not money, but what he has lost. 6. The ultimate tragedies. There are people who are not brought down by a single shock. They are worn down by a series of losses, each one not enough to end everything, but enough to leave a new crack. The life of Keanu Reeves is one such case. When looking at his calm, quiet image, almost detached from the noise of Hollywood, many think it is a choice. But if you look deeper, it may be the result of a journey where loss has never stopped. In 1993, one of the first shocks to hit Keanu was the passing of River Phoenix. Not just a colleague, River was a very close friend, someone Keanu was connected with in his early career years. River died at 23 from a drug overdose outside a nightclub in Los Angeles. It happened too fast, too unexpectedly, and left a void that could not be filled. It was not just losing a friend. It was the first time Keanu had to directly face the fragility of life in the very world he was entering. No warning, no chance to say goodbye, only the silence that followed. But if that was a shock, what came after felt like a prolonged series of trials. In 1999, Keanu and his then-girlfriend Jennifer Syme were preparing to welcome their first daughter. They named her Ava. But Ava never had the chance to live a real life. She passed away right after being born. A child who had not even opened her eyes was gone. For many, that is a pain beyond words. For Keanu, it is a wound that never heals. His relationship with Jennifer could not remain the same after this shock. They broke up, each carrying their own pain, but neither truly escaped it. Just 2 years later, in 2001, tragedy returned in a more brutal way. Jennifer Syme died in a car accident. Once again, Keanu lost someone important in his life. And this time, it was no longer a single shock. It was a continuation of what had not yet faded. Losing a child, losing a partner. The two greatest losses a person can face happened within a very short time. No break, no time to heal, only the feeling that life kept taking away what he had just tried to hold on to. Alongside those events, Keanu also faced a long-term concern in his family. His sister, Kim Reeves, was diagnosed with leukemia. This was not a shock that came and went. It was a battle lasting many years. Keanu stayed by her side, providing financial support, care, and time for his family during that difficult period. Not under the spotlight, not in front of the media, but in silence. In days no one saw. Looking back at this entire chain of events, what stands out is not each individual incident. What stands out is the pace of them. A person can overcome one loss, maybe two, but when losses come one after another with no pause, it begins to change how that person sees the world. Perhaps that is why Keanu never truly immersed himself in the lights of Hollywood. He does not chase attention. He does not try to become the center. He does not turn his life into a story to be told. He chooses distance, chooses silence, chooses to live in a way that few can fully understand. And perhaps because of that, when people see Keanu sitting alone eating a sandwich or quietly walking down the street, they easily label him as lonely. But the truth may be simpler. That is not loneliness. That is someone who has been through too much to still feel the need to prove anything to the world. Someone who understands that everything can disappear at any moment, so there is no longer a need to hold on too tightly to anything. And after all those losses, what makes Keanu Reeves different is not how much he has endured. It is that he continues to live, continues to work, continues to treat people around him with kindness, as if what happened did not turn him bitter. In a world where success often comes with display, Keanu chooses a different path, more quiet, more reserved, but more real. And after all those losses, the most surprising thing is that Keanu is still here, still smiling. 7. Keanu Reeves' life in 2026 is filled with smiles and happiness. If you look at the life of Keanu Reeves like a movie, many would expect a Hollywood-style ending. A man goes through loss, then finally finds complete happiness. Everything is healed, all pain is closed. But Keanu's reality in 2026 does not unfold that way. It is not a perfect ending. It is a rare state of balance, not loud, not dramatic, but real enough to make people stop and think. One of the clearest changes in Keanu's life in recent years is his relationship with Alexandra Grant. The two had known each other for years, working together on art projects, but it was not until 2019 that they officially appeared together in public at a major event. No loud announcement, no media campaign, just a moment of holding hands on the red carpet, enough for the world to realize that Keanu Reeves, the man who always kept his distance, had chosen to open his heart once again. From then to 2026, this relationship has maintained a rare stability in the entertainment world. No scandals, no noise, no turning love into content to be exploited. Alexandra is a visual artist with her own life and career, not relying on Keanu's fame to exist. And perhaps that is what creates balance between them. No one tries to change the other. No one tries to prove anything to the outside world. They simply stay together in the most natural way possible. There is a small detail that says a lot. When asked about a recent happy moment, Keanu did not talk about success money or new projects. He simply answered, "Being with my honey." A simple sentence, but placed in the context of his life, it carries a very different weight. After everything he has lost, being able to call someone by such an affectionate name is not something easy. What is notable is that even with a stable relationship, Keanu's life has not changed in the way people often expect from a star. He still dresses simply, still appears in outfits with almost no prominent brands, still can sit alone in a cafe, walk down the street without a group of assistants following him. He does not try to build an image of a new happy man. He does not try to prove that he has overcome everything. He simply continues to live the way he always has. Work remains an important part of Keanu's life. He continues to take on film projects, expand into production, develop creative projects like comics, and maintain personal passions, like motorcycles. But what is different is how he approaches these things. There is no longer the feeling of having to chase to keep his position, no longer the pressure to prove his value. Everything happens at a slower, more selective pace, as if after everything Keanu has found a way to work without losing himself. The most important point in Keanu's life in 2026 is not that he has healed. The truth is, there are losses that never completely disappear. They only change how they exist in a person's life. For Keanu, what may have happened is not that he overcame everything, but that he learned to live with them, not denying, not avoiding, but also not letting them define his entire identity. That is a very different kind of peace, not the absence of pain, but no longer being controlled by it, not forgetting the past, but not letting the past decide the future. And that is what makes the image of Keanu Reeves today special. Not because he is perfect, but because he continues moving forward, even while carrying so much behind him. In a world where success is often measured by what a person achieves, Keanu Reeves makes people question that again. Perhaps what matters is not how much you have, but how you choose to live with what you have been through. A man not defined by tragedy, but by how he lives after it. And perhaps that is the true light in Keanu Reeves' life. Not dazzling, not showy, but enough to illuminate the road ahead. So what makes Keanu Reeves special? Is it what he has achieved, or how he chooses to live after everything?
We might talk about some public figures, companies, or social events today, but please note that we are just exploring these topics. Nothing said should be taken as a personal accusation or a judgment. Who should we cover next? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to join our community and stay updated on all things Hollywood. Catch you in the next episode.